Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my 3 favorite planners and how I like to use them. So if you enjoy this type of content and other homeschool content, please remember to subscribe and let's get into it. Okay, so I'm not the biggest fan of digital planning. I know it's helpful, and as my kids get more busy, that's probably what we'll have to do as well, just because then we can see everyone's schedules at the same time. But right now, paper planning still works out for me, and I'll probably still do both even when we have to do digital. But I have these 3 planners here. I do not use them all at the same time usually. I am currently using 2 of them, and there's one of them that I have loved for years. So I'm gonna share them all with you. And then at the end of this video, I'll go through just a few ways that I use them, because sometimes it can be overwhelming, especially when they kind of have open concepts and you can use them in whatever way works best for you. So I wanted to show some ways that have worked well for me to use these planners, so that maybe it'll give you some different ideas. And then I'll try to make sure I link everything down below, so if you want to check them out, you can do that. So let's talk about the first planner that I've been loving. Okay, so the first planner I wanted to mention is Jordan Page's Block Schedule. And I think I've been using this for 1.5 years, maybe 2 years. I'm not completely sure, but I've really liked this planner. It's a different way of planning. Jordan Page is here on YouTube. She has Instagram, she has a blog. She has so many resources that kind of explain how to use her block schedule. This is a newer version of her block schedule planner. She has ones that are just strictly the block schedule. This one also includes some of her budgeting ideas and other things like that that aren't found in her normal block schedule. So yeah, when you open it up, it has goals, budget, and then the blocks are down here. The nice thing about this planner is it doesn't come outlined with the dates on it. So you can use it anytime, which is nice, because sometimes if you get like behind, there'll be a few weeks that maybe I don't end up using, probably upcoming soon when I'm having a baby. But those don't go to waste because they don't have a date on them. So I can just go back and put the date on them and still use those pages, which I really appreciate and like. And so her main concept, this is kind of a mess. You guys are like, what in the heck is going on? So this is what her block schedule looks like. And if you get one of her planners that's just dedicated to block scheduling, she'll have more space for you to brain dump kind of everything that needs to get done for the week, and then also to schedule all those things in. So I guess it depends on how much space you want, and if you want a planner that's just dedicated to block scheduling. I wanted to try this one out because it was new and just see how it is. I think either one works great. They both have enough space for me. I don't really use the other things in here with budgeting and things like that, because I just do most of that on the computer through like Google Excel sheets and stuff like that. Is that what you spreadsheets? I'm like, Excel's obviously a different program, and so I have enjoyed using this. The idea is to put what you need to get done into blocks, instead of saying at 9 o'clock I'm doing this, at 10 o'clock I'm doing this, at 11 o'clock I'm doing this. And so you can put everything in to, I have a 2 to 3 hour chunk of time here. What do I need to work on during that time? And you can label on the sides morning, afternoon, evening, or put the times. And I do that more in the other planner. There's a little bit more space, but also now in my head, I'm just so used to planning this way that I don't really have to think through what time of the day it is. So then you go through, you write down what you're doing in those blocks, and then you can cross it off or put a check mark by it or whatever. And I just really liked it. I liked that it's not as rigid, and I still don't always get everything done during that time, but I've also learned to only pick like 1 or 2 like main things, like big things I need to get done for that day, and then have a bunch of little things that can fill in the gaps. And so then I'll put all those things in the gaps, or have them written on my to-do list over here. And so then when I have a moment with a gap, I can fill it in with those things. But then I still feel like I'm accomplishing something, I'm not overwhelmed, and it's helped me just keep a much better schedule. So this is one of the options that I've really been liking. And I feel like even if I were to use a different type of planner, I'm so used to block scheduling that that's still how I do it in another planner, which I will show you some options of how you could do that as well. Okay, so the next planner I wanted to mention is Erin Condren's planners. I have been using this one for about a year, and it's thicker than most of them because it's 18 months. Since I got this like in the middle of the year, I think you could add on 6 more months for like a really cheap cost. And so I was like, okay, might as well, because usually when I buy planners, I get them from January to December. I don't tend to buy academic planners. Occasionally that's what happens, but usually I don't. So I wanted something that would get me through a year and a half so I could be still on like a calendar year. So I got this one. And you probably have heard me mention Erin Condren before. I love her notebooks. This is where all my notes are for this video. And so I use those quite a bit for a variety of things. I had never used her planners. Up until last year, I had used the same planner for like 6 to 7 years, like from the same company, which is the next planner I'm gonna show you. So you just hold on. I'll show you what it's like, because I still really love that planner, but I just wanted to try something a little bit different. Sorry, again, my throat is just so yucky with pregnancy. And so I have really enjoyed using this planner. I got it more to write down my schedule. And so like if my kids have appointments, or when I want to post YouTube videos or things like that, just so I had an overview. So currently I've been using these two together. I'll look at this, it has my appointments, what I need to film, all that kind of stuff. And then I can go in and I can block schedule it into what I need it to be. So that's been working well for me. But in here, this is kind of what it looks like. Again, it looks like a block schedule, so you could use this in the same type of way, or you could use it to write like mom things, YouTube things, homeschool things, or whatever you're, you know, if you just have work, you could just have work as one of them. And you could schedule it out this way. Obviously this is August, don't have much going on, and probably won't because I'll have a newborn. But I like how it's laid out like this. And then obviously at the beginning of each month, they have a full calendar, which I'll show you what I've been liking to do with this as well. But this has a lot of different options as far as covers go. These covers are interchangeable, so you can pull them off right here if you want to buy a new cover. This one has my name on it. Again, there's a lot of ways to customize. There's a lot of different layouts. It doesn't have to be the layout that I picked. And you can put for 12 months, 18 months. I'm not sure if they have 6 months. You know, so there's many different options, which is again something I like. And occasionally I just like to try something new. So it's fun when I already love a company to be able to try something new within that company. Okay, and then I have one last planner to share with you. Hopefully we can make it through. Trying not to cough my brains out if my eyes are all watery. I'm sorry, again, my throat is just horrible right now, and talking and eating makes it so much worse. So just a few more weeks of pregnancy and then hopefully this will all be gone. But I loved it in the Leafy Treetops planners, and it's been like 6 or 7 years. This was the first year I hadn't bought one to use, and they reached out to me to film an ad for them. And so they sent me a planner. And so this is an academic planner, which again is different than what I normally get, because it's going from, I think it goes from June probably to next May. Whereas the other planners I usually have go from January to December. Okay, so I wanted to show you why I love this planner so much. And there's a lot of good things. Again, it's very similar to the Erin Condren one in as far as the layout goes. So it again looks like a block schedule. It has different sections, and there's different options. You can have this layout, which goes horizontal, vertical. This is vertical. You can have more of a horizontal layout. They have ones that are more like bullet journal type things. They have hourly ones. So there's a whole bunch of different formats. There's different covers. There's just a variety of options you can choose from. But in here, you're able to, again, block schedule. You could write down morning, afternoon, evening. You could do, again, YouTube, homeschool, mom things, work, all that kind of stuff. And so I really like those options. This is a church planner. And so it has stuff in it for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They also have non-denominational planners. I was gonna say platters, not platters. They have non-denominational planners. I've never had one of those before, so I don't know exactly what it has in it. But this one has, you know, quotes up here from what we're studying in church. So that one's the scripture from the Bible. It has a place up here for you to set goals. It has a whole bunch of stuff, I think, in the back for like home and family. Back here for different types of planning. So there's a lot of things in here that are good for anybody. And then there's also some things that are a little bit more specific to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. But again, you can have that stuff taken out if you don't want it in here. But I feel like you can use this planner for block scheduling as well, and you wouldn't need both of these planners. You could just use one, and you could just use this one for the same thing as well. I've just been using the two of the Erin Condren and the Jordan Page one together. So those are my 3 favorite planners at the moment. And let me just show you a few options of ways to use a couple of the pages that are in them. Okay, so I'm gonna show you Jordan Page's planner first. And over here is where I write my to-dos for the week. Some of it, you know, it's not gonna make sense to you, but it makes sense to me. My list is very small. I've been whittling it down as much as I can before this baby gets here. So I just need to do my reading every day. We're doing summer reading as a family. I have some church curriculum stuff I need to get done. And then writing 10 pages is just a goal that I'm trying to do, to write more. I'm not very good at it yet. I'm working on this baby's blessing dress, and I need to try to plan some freezer meals. So those are big things that I'm trying to get done this week, or I've been trying to get done for the last few weeks, because some of them take longer than just this week. But then I take the day. So for today, I'm trying to make sure you guys can see this, and I'm right-handed, so it's kind of awkward. But this, I put down my morning schedule. Even though I know my morning schedule pretty darn well, I still write it down. So I have prayer, meditation, I do scriptures, I do workout, shower, breakfast, and then today I needed to replant some pepper plants that were getting overtaken by my zucchini plants outside. So I did that, and then we did some schoolwork for a little while, and I needed to make more French toast sticks to put in the freezer. So I accomplished all those things. Again, I used to put so many things into each of these blocks, and this is kind of like, it'll be done before noon, like lunchtime. In my head, that's what block this is. And I used to just overwhelm myself because I would not accomplish everything. And now I kind of have gotten an idea of what I can get done in that amount of time. And then right now I'm here filming. I have a bunch of videos that I've been kind of trying to get everything, like a bunch of stuff filmed before this baby. So I need to do a bunch of thumbnails for them. And then my daughter has her singing class. I need to get dinner done, and then reading and crocheting, which is working on the blessing dress, because I'm crocheting the blessing dress. And that stuff will be done kind of once my kids are in bed. So that's typically how it looks. My morning always looks a little busier because I usually can get a lot more stuff done during that time. And then this work stuff takes up a bigger chunk of my afternoon. And then we have dinner and transition into evening and like bedtime. So you can make it more bare or more complicated, however you want it to be. I haven't written anything tomorrow because we're doing something fun as a family and I don't want my kids to see it. So I haven't written anything on this for tomorrow, but I have started making a list on Wednesday of things I need to do. One of them is to wash and organize baby clothes. So this is kind of how I like to use the blocks, and I would use these fairly similarly. That's a really hard word for me to say. I would do the same type of thing. We'll just reword the sentence if I was using one of the other planners. Okay, and then this is the Erin Condren planner. I turned to a month. Obviously, I don't have anything written in here, but I wanted to show you could do the same thing and kind of what I've been using it for. I don't write this out to the side, but you could write it out to the side. This is usually appointments. That's kind of what I've been using this top block for. The middle one, I don't think I've been using it really for anything at the moment. It could just be to-dos. Other things I think of throughout the week that it's like, oh, this has to be done that day, but it's not necessarily a scheduled appointment thing. And so I can keep track of it there. And then I have been writing more like YouTube type things in this bottom box, keeping track of what I'm filming, what I need to edit. And so then when I go to schedule in my blocks for the day in my other planner, I can just look at this and know what I need to do. But like I said, you don't have to use a separate planner. You could just look at this list and know what you needed to do for the day instead of looking at something totally separate. And then something else I wanted to show you that I have been doing with this particular planner, let me hit the camera, is meal planning. So the calendar at the front of each month that just shows the whole month. I've been putting all of our meals in here. And again, you probably can't read any of this. It probably doesn't make any sense to you, but this is what I have been using it for, and it's been working pretty well. And you could also use this calendar, again, for like a work schedule. I've used them for YouTube and all that kind of stuff, but currently I've been using it for a menu. And so I'll go through, write everything down, and then I can just flip to this and see what I plan for dinner, and it just makes my life a whole lot easier. Okay, and then this is the In the Leafy Treetops planner. It looks, again, very similar to the Erin Condren one, and so you could use them in very similar ways. And in here, I label this homeschool, mom, and YouTube. You could also do morning, afternoon, evening if you wanted to have it more block scheduled for your whole day. And that would also work as well. This one also has a place to do like a habit tracker at the top if you want to keep track of those things. But there's a lot of similarities between all these planners, which makes it nice because they all offer a lot of great things and a lot of variety. There's so many ways you could keep track of your schedule, which makes them like appealing and useful to a lot of different types of people and a lot of different types of schedules. This one also has kind of a meal planner or a work tracker right here. So I loved this page. When I use this planner, I would go through here, and I used it for meals a lot of the time, but I also used it for YouTube, and you could use it for both at the same time. So I could write what we're eating, you know, in the top box or in a different color. And then down on these lines, maybe what I needed to post for YouTube or edit for YouTube and things like that. So then when I'm planning my blocks back over here, I can look at that calendar and be like, this is what I need to do today. And it makes my life a little bit simpler. But this gives you the whole month at a glance. And some days we eat the same things. Like every single Sunday, we usually have popcorn for dinner. And so you can plan that out. Or if there's a day, maybe on Thursdays, you always have leftovers. So plan out your leftovers. You know, not the specific leftovers, just put leftovers. But it gives you a lot of variety in how you can use it. And then also over here, if you can see that, there's a whole bunch of lists. I don't know if it goes on to the next page. Yes. So there's spots for lists, which is, again, super nice. So if you're using this for meal planning, so maybe week 1 or whatever, you meal plan and you can write here all the different things you need from the grocery store. So then when you go to order them on your phone or in the store, you can just look through your list. You could also use it to write maybe some YouTube ideas for the month. Once you filmed them, check them off, or if you have work things that need to be turned in, make the list, maybe when they are due, check them off once they're done. There's a lot of different ways to use this, and that's what I love about it. So those are just a few of the ways that I use it. Hopefully that is helpful for you and gives you some ideas of maybe how it could work in your life. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was helpful for you, maybe exposed you to some planners that you hadn't heard about before, or some concepts of planning that you hadn't thought about before. That was kind of my goal. So If you have a planner that you just love or that like you've used for years or that has been really helpful for you, please comment it down below because I'd love to hear about it and I'm sure other people would love to hear about it as well. And remember to give this video a thumbs up and I will see you next time.